I was on a solo journey from Colorado to the Arctic Circle in Alaska when I met Kevin and Jim. I was approaching a long line of vehicles waiting to be escorted by pilot car through a construction zone. When the flagger asked all three of us to move up to the front of the line together. We unintentionally ended up riding together through one construction zone after another for a couple of hours. Then, further down the highway, Kevin ran out of gas. By chance that afternoon, they happened to be riding with a guy who tends to over-prepare. I had a 2-gallon spare container full of fuel. We dumped it in Kevin's bike, and the three of us made our way to Beaver Creek, Yukon Territory, and filled up at the gas station there. I stayed in Beaver Creek that night, where I had a room reserved across the street from the gas station, and Kevin and Jim continued on to Alaska. I enjoyed riding with Kevin and Jim that afternoon. It broke the monotony of riding alone for the last week, and they were both fun to be around. The next morning, after riding for a couple of hours, I stopped in Tok, Alaska to fill up, when I heard a couple of bikes pull up behind me. When I turned around, I was pleasantly surprised to see Kevin and Jim. They'd stopped in Tok because Jim wanted to wash his Harley. As they were leaving the car wash, they saw me pull into the gas station, so they thought they'd ask if I wanted to ride along with them today. The answer was easy. The following year, I rode with Kevin in his home country of Ireland. And the year after that, Kevin and I rode from Ireland to the most northern point on the European continent, the North Cape in Norway.
They're going to let this Irishman on?
Huh?
They're going to let this foreigner on?
Yeah,
Me?
because you're with me.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we're going on to an Air Force base. So they know
That day back in 2015 was a kick in the pants. This year, Kevin and Jim are both coming to Colorado to play in my backyard. Jim arrived at my home from Pennsylvania at 10 a.m., right when he said he'd be there. And a couple of hours later, we were at Denver International Airport picking up Kevin, who just flew in from Ireland.
Howdy. Welcome to Colorado.
Hey, old this whole Harley sitting here.
When we got back to my place, our attention was turned to Jim's new Screamin' Eagle Harley, which earned the prime spot in my garage. It's a beautiful piece of machinery. Kevin wanted to ride this new Harley, badly. I didn't even want to touch it. I was afraid if I even looked at it, I might knock it over. But I didn't see Jim dangling the keys in front of Kevin's face, yet. After Kevin was finished drooling on the floor over Jim's bike, he had his very own bought and paid for US bike to sit on. This was the first time he's seen it live and in person. He found it on Craigslist here in Denver a few months earlier, and I checked it out for him and gave it my stamp of approval. I think Kevin will be the proud owner of a very reliable bike.
I don't see any cars yet.
Kevin found the fuel container in my garage that started this whole thing and just had to get a selfie. We ended that day with an evening ride to the local park. And the following day we decided to do a little shopping, and Jim had already decided what store he wanted to hit first. The local pot shop. After the priorities were out of the way, then we hit the local Harley store, then the BMW motorcycle store, and then one of the largest motorcycle accessory stores west of the Mississippi. The first day and a half was a good time, and tomorrow it should get even better as we begin our tour of southwestern Colorado. Over the next 7 days, we'll be riding through the southwestern part of Colorado, about 1,300 miles. It was an extremely dry winter in Colorado, especially in the southwestern part of the state. There are already several major forest fires currently burning in the area. We stopped at a diner in Monument for breakfast. As we were about to climb back on the bikes, Jim asked me if I was ready to go. I said, yes, I'm all set. He said, are you sure? Then he handed me my riding jacket that I'd left inside the diner. I thought, oh no, this isn't going to be another one of those trips, is it? I don't have my jacket on. Under here, my jacket. It's in the closet in the room.
Ah, no way.
I took some heat from the guys after that one. We made our way from the cabin to Westcliffe, about 15 minutes away, where the last thing you want to happen as you're about to start a big trip happened. Kevin's bike wouldn't start. After we tinkered with it for about an hour, we were pretty sure it was a loose terminal on the battery. A battery I installed a few weeks earlier. But we got it running and we were on our way to Glenwood Springs.